Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Leah and most of my videos are focused on unsolved crimes and mysteries. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the TREADMILL murder trial, day 7. And as you probably can tell, I am feeling a lot better. I'm not so emotional now. I've been talking a lot with friends and family over and over and over. So I am ready to move closer to look at that monster. So yesterday we were a lot of people waiting for the trial to begin. And they had about a 30-minute delay. So we were waiting and waiting and waiting. And when the trial finally began, they only had one witness. They called in the entire jury for one witness. And that witness was David Gregor, Chris's father. And he had been on the stand before, but that was just a hearing. There was no jury. So he had to give his testimony all over again in front of the jury. And he did practically most of the time. He told the exact same story as the first time. And I noticed he also started crying at the exact same time as he did the first time. And that made me wonder a little bit. And I noticed that he changed the date for when Chris returned, because Chris's mother said that Chris returned on Easter Sunday, the 4th of April. But now David Gregor said that he returned the 5th of April. So that's a day difference. Other than that, I think his story was practically the same. But when he was done with his testimony and it was over, the judge sent the jury home and told them to come back tomorrow. And we were all like, you can't be serious. You called in an entire jury for one witness. So when we all thought it was over, we were all ready to close our computer or mobile or TV or wherever you're watching it. A bombshell came. I was, what? It came out that there was a recorded phone call between Chris and his mother, Carolyn, where Chris is coaching his mother on what to say when she takes the stand. Are you freaking kidding me? And it just made me think, are they gonna throw out Carolyn and David Gregor's testimony also from the hearing? Because now that it had come out that Christopher is coaching his mom on what to say, how can we trust that he didn't coach his dad as well? We can't trust anything these people say. I don't know. Do you think they're going to throw everything out? Or do you think they're going to keep the lies for the jury? I don't know. Personally, I don't trust a word that comes out of their mouth after I heard that Chris was coaching his mom. I couldn't believe it.
The next issue was the decision to call or not call Carolyn Gregor, the defendant's mother. Who would like to begin with that issue?
Judge, I could begin. The state came into possession of a recording of a phone call between the defendant and his mother that took place, I believe, last Friday, subsequent to the testimony of Carolyn and David Gregor at the 104 hearing in this court. During the phone call, the state asserts that the defendant was coaching his mother with regard to her testimony. I sent it to the court. I sent it to Mr. Gallucci last night and indicated that if Ms. Gregor testified, or even in the defendant's testimony, basically anybody that makes that relevant before the court, I will, subject to any rulings from the court, be looking to use that on cross-examination in whatever form I need to at the time.
Thank you, Mr. Gallucci.
Your Honor, you know I'm in charge of making the decisions on who the witnesses are going to be that testify in court. And what Ms. Strong just said is very accurate. I received not only a transcript of that recording, but also the recording itself. I don't necessarily disagree with Ms. Schroen's interpretation of that conversation, but that conversation does make me not want to call Mrs. Gregor as a witness in the trial. I will say that at every single moment she had the opportunity to stop her son from speaking about the case and trial strategy and whatever else he wanted to discuss. She made every attempt to stop him from talking about it, but he persisted. And at one point actually even hung up on her son because he continued to persist. At one point you actually hear his father in the background saying, "Stop," and basically enough is enough. So as a result of this conversation, I find it necessary not to call Mrs. Gregor as a witness in this case. Mrs. Gregor was going to be a fact witness and basically testify, not even as long as Mr. David Gregor testified, but she would have testified basically to conversations she had with her son the morning that Corey had come home. So it was going to be a very limited examination anyway. So as a result of this conversation that my client was involved with, I will not be calling Mrs. Gregor.
All right, thank you both for that. Ms. Schroen emailed the court with a copy, obviously from Mr. Gallucci, containing a transcript of the recorded telephone call, and indicated that she intended to seek permission to be able to use the same. And first thing this morning, Mr. Gallucci asked for the ability to conference the matter, which we discussed in chambers, but everything that's been discussed in chambers has been repeated out here in detail. The court agrees with what counsel have said. It's well settled law that any attempts by a defendant to influence, change, or alter the testimony of a witness, whether that be through threats or promises or entreaties or otherwise, can be admissible. In fact, it can be admissible on the issue of consciousness of guilt. I've already gone through a long analysis on the admissibility of post-offense evidence regarding consciousness of guilt, namely the defendant's alleged flight to Arkansas and Tennessee, his alleged deletion of internet history and text messages. So in that regard, I would have had to make a decision about not only the ability to cross-examine defense witnesses, such as Ms. Gregor, on what influence the defendant's conduct may have had on her, but whether or not that conduct also would be separately admissible by itself. Our Supreme Court has recognized that the relevance of post-offense conduct to a defendant's mental state is important, and courts should address it if it demonstrates a consciousness of guilt. And again, I'll cite State v. Williams, 190, New Jersey 114 at 125. That's a 2007 New Jersey Supreme Court case. That's a case I cited last week in regard to other post-offense conduct evidence. And in that Williams case, statements made by the defendant towards witnesses to get them to alter or change their testimony were deemed admissible as the defendant's intent. So here, the defendant evidently was still foolish enough to try and engage in that conduct, even while the attorney was obviously meeting and preparing for witnesses. Both sides have correctly summarized the statement. The statement ends, the phone call ends with Mr. David Gregor intervening and saying the conversation's over. In fact, he even says that they've been meeting with Mr. Gallucci, which was appropriate, and there's no reason to continue the call. And then both parents repeatedly say that this is the end of the call. It's over. Stop. So Mr. Gallucci's then been put in a situation to have to make a decision how to address that.
It's insane. He just keeps messing up and digging his own grave deeper and deeper and deeper. It must be very, very hard to be his lawyer But you know what, Chris? Just keep going, because you keep messing up. First, you're recorded abusing your son in the gym. Then you fled the hospital exactly when your boy passed away. And then you did a lot of Google searches. Internal bleeding, how long to die? Did you do it on purpose? Did you look into how to murder your son, and now you're checking how long it takes for him to pass away? You're completely insane. Then he Googled, will red marks turn into bruises? Can my phone be traced if I put it on airplane mode? Can my car be traced? He was Googling a lot of crazy things. And now he's coaching his mom what to say on the stand. Wow. And today when I woke up, the trial already started again. I'm recording from Turkey, so the time difference can be a little bit difficult sometimes. But they showed the body cam footage from when Chris was pulled over in Tennessee. And apparently it's an 8-hour long video, but they showed some clips. And one of them was from when Chris had just been pulled over. And when they asked him for his papers, he was shaking so much that the police officers, they couldn't help but notice it. And they said he was shaking so much in the car, he couldn't focus on finding his papers. He was looking in all the wrong places. Why is he scared? His dad was a trooper for many, many years. He should feel comfortable surrounded by the police. So why is he shaking? And then when they took him out of the car to search him, I don't know if you watched the body cam footage. If you didn't, I'm going to show you. When they searched Chris, their camera was on. And when they recorded his shirt on the back, you know what it said? I couldn't believe it. It said, "We play so kids can play for free. Body Light Children's Foundation." I'm like, you're a supporter of the Children's Foundation. You even wear their shirt. And then knowing that allegedly you murdered and abused your own son, and you're wearing a top for the Children's Foundation. You can't be serious. You can't be serious.
What's that? It was on your resume? Yes, sir. First base one. Is that long public statement hurt me or anyway? No, sir. This area you retrieved from the police? Is this your vehicle? Yes, sir. I think since you guys said you needed to not be I really don't know. It's on your bus over here. You're telling me some kind of story about this. Yeah.
And it also shows that when Chris realizes how much he's messing up, he's really nervous. It's like he starts to calm down. He apologized to the police that he's freaking out. His son just passed away. And he's blaming Brianna again, telling them that he's a teacher, like painting himself to be a really good person. He's a teacher. And his mother, Corey's mother, is a drug addict. And there has been some child abuse. And he feels like if he had just kept Corey away from his mom, this would never have happened. And actually, to be honest, it seems like the police officer believes him. Because I feel like they become very friendly with Chris. I couldn't believe it. But the good news is these police officers, they might be called in to testify in the trial. And by now, they probably saw the treadmill video. They will know Chris was full of BS and was lying direct in their face. So do you think they should come in and testify against Chris? Where do I sign up? It's a yes from me. It's a yes from me. I can't believe this. This case just keeps getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And Chris, he just keeps messing up. He's messing up and messing up and messing up. And when it came out about that phone call, they turned the camera to David Gregor. He was not happy. He was not a happy man. And I also have to say, this is my personal opinion, but I have to say this. I can't, no. It also hit me that I noticed that during the hearing, when his mother was testifying, I saw her looking at Chris several times where she was like, she wasn't nodding at him, but she was like smiling, like, I don't know how to explain it. She was like, now I know Chris was coaching her. So she was probably like, did I get that right? Did I get that right? While she's smiling. They're protecting their son. Carolyn and David Gregor, they sat in the hearing and said that they loved Corey. They were doing everything they could to support him and make him feel welcome and comfortable, and they always looked after him and picked him up by the school bus, and everything was just sunshine and rainbows, so perfect. But now when their son allegedly mistreated Corey so bad that he passed away from internal injuries, they're ignoring Corey and protecting and covering for their abuser son. You can't be serious. They should be ashamed of themselves. Corey is screaming from the grave with medical reports, the medical examiner's report, witnesses from the hospital that saw Chris's demeanor when Corey was on the table fighting for his life. They know about the bruises, they know about his injuries, they know everything. And every single thing is pointing to their son mistreating their grandchild. And they're standing up for Chris and not for their grandson. I have never seen anything more disgusting. They should be ashamed of themselves, in my opinion. But I'm going to keep you updated about this trial. So thank you all so much for watching. And until the next one, take care and stay safe. Bye.